Good morning everyone. I am Saranya S, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, St.Josephs College of Arts and Science for Women Household. Let me discuss about Michelson-Morley experiment. In 1887, Michelson and Morley set out to measure the relative velocity of Earth with respect to the ether. Principle of this experiment is to find the shifting fringes. That means difference in time taken by light to travel along and opposite direction of motion of the earth. Finally, the result is light travel time is always greater than opposite to the direction of motion of earth. Surprisingly, the presence of ether could not be detected. Look at the picture. He is the Michelson and he is the Morley. So this is the schematic diagram of Michelson-Morley experiment. This is the experimental setup of Michelson-Morley experiment. A beam of light from a monochromatic source S falls on a half silvered glass plate P, placed at an angle of 45 degrees to the beam. The incident beam is split up into two parts by P. The reflected portion travels in a direction at right angles to the incident beam, falls normally and B on the plane mirror M1 and is reflected back to P. It gets refracted through P and enters the telescope T. The transmitted portion travels along the direction of the initial beam, falls normally on mirror M2 and A and is reflected back to P. After the reflection from the back surface of P, it enters the telescope T. The two reflected beams interfere and the interference fringes are viewed with the help of telescope. Construction and working of Michelson-Morley experiment. The beam reflected upwards to M1 traverses the thickness of a plate P thrice, whereas the beam refracted onto mirror M2 traverses P only once. The effective distance of the mirrors M1 and M2 from the plate P is made to be the same by the use of compensating plate as shown in the figure. The whole apparatus was floating on mercury. One arm PA was pointed in the direction of earth motion round the sun and the other PB was pointed perpendicular to this motion. The path of the two beams and the position of their reflections from M1 and M2 will be shown by the dotted lines. The result of this experiment is distance travelled by the light in time del t equal to C into del t, which is equal to dV square by C square. This is the path difference between the two parts of the incident beam. If the apparatus is turned through 90 degrees, the path difference between the two beams becomes 2 dV square by C square. So Michelson and Morley expected a fringe shift of about 0.4 in their apparatus. when it was rotated through 90 degree, and they believed that they could detect a shift as small as 0.01 of a fringe. But in the experiment, no displacement of the fringes was observed. They repeated the experiment at different points on the Earth's surface and at different seasons of the year without detecting any measurable shifts in fringes. This negative result suggests that it is impossible to measure the speed of the Earth relative to the ether. Therefore, the effects of ether are undetectable. All the attempts to make ether as a fixed frame of reference failed. So this is the negative result of Michelson-Morley experiment, which means there is no relative motion between the earth and ether, contraction of bodies through the ether, and constancy of the speed of light. The results are in detail. The earth dragged along with it the ether in its immediate neighborhood. Thus, there was no relative motion between the earth and ether. So this is the explanation proposed by Michelson. Lorentz suggestion that there was contraction of bodies along the direction of their motion through the ether. So this contraction hypothesis easily explains why the Michelson-Morley experiment gave a negative result. The proper explanation for the negative result of the Michelson-Morley experiment was given by Einstein. He concluded that the velocity of light in space is a universal constant. This statement is called the principle of constancy of the speed of light. The speed of light is c rather than modulus c plus v in any frame. Thank you.